Before this video starts, I do want to state it does contain spoilers for the main game story bosses and the order of which you encounter them. If you intended to figure that out for yourself, now would be the time to click off of this video. I also want to point out that we will be selectively hopping around topics. Uh, we're also not going to be touching on rings, armor sets, and weapons, and we're also going to be disregarding most NPCs because I believe that exploration and experimentation are a huge part of these games. So I'm going to selectively leave out information I believe will make the game more painful for you, because learning how to make it not so painful is the fun part. That being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Dark Souls 1 had a very rocky start on the PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. To be fair, it was following Demon's Souls, which isn't a bad game. It was definitely a game that inspired Dark Souls, especially with its frustrating gimmick or gank fights. These are present across all of the games, and we'll touch them as they become relevant. The fights I'm mostly thinking about are the Bed of Chaos, Smough, and Ornstein, and the Grey Lord Nito. However, despite all these, I do think it's a really fun game when you look at it objectively, and I do find myself returning to it even after 52 hours of playing the game already, which I understand is not as high as other players who enjoyed this game. But despite that, it's got a few issues that, although are not deal breakers, are something that I do want to bring up. So the basic story rundown goes as follows. Your character, branded with the dark sign, wakes up in a jail cell, and to escape you have to defeat the warden of the jail cell, known as the Asylum Demon. You head off to a cliff and curl up into a ball at the highest, curl up into a ball in a nest at the highest point. From there, a bird takes you to Firelink Shrine, where an NPC you encounter will inform you of two bells that have to be rung to open the way forward with the game. One of the two areas you'll visit, of course, to ring one of the two said bells, is Blighttown. The picture you're seeing on screen now is a picture of Blighttown from the boss arena. Blighttown is a poison-rated underground settlement from which you'll have to find and defeat a spicy spider lady named Quelaag. But from this area you can also access the Great Hollow and grind Titanite shards from slugs. If this idea scares you, too bad. This area is required, and it really frustrated me on a first playthrough, but on New Game Plus it wasn't as bad, and I actually kind of thoroughly enjoyed it. After ringing both bells, the second being locked behind the Gargoyles gank fight, which in all honesty isn't that bad, you'll have to run to a place called Sen's Fortress. This place can be found near Andre the Blacksmith, one of two blacksmiths that you'll encounter in this game, and he's also the same NPC who sells you the Crest of Artorias, which is necessary to unlock the shortcut to the Great Grey Wolf of Sif, another required boss in this game. Sen's Funhouse is a Scooby-Doo style torture chamber full of traps, axes, iron balls of fury, and snake men who have harnessed the power of Thor just to ruin your day. This place sucks. Even if you know what you're doing, it's one of the earliest places that punishes you for making mistakes instead of the area boss doing the vibe check. Honestly, Miyazaki, what were you thinking? After struggling your way through Sen's Funhouse and meeting the presidents of the Inner Orlando Archery Club, you'll encounter the mid-game bosses. Yes, you heard that right, bosses. The mid-game fight that blocks you from accessing the second half of the game is a gank fight. I honestly believe it's best to leave that there, as if you haven't played the game before, they're a really cool fight, and I really like to keep that a mystery. Just know that they are required, as well as you'll see me in this footage here fast traveling around, mostly to clean up some things I left behind and gather footage for this video. But You can't actually fast travel in this game until you beat Sma in Ornstein. So that gank fight that you get to by going through an Orlando Archery Club, they're required if you want to be able to teleport around. Before this, you have to run place to place, which can be tedious to a lot of people. After defeating Sma and Ornstein, you'll be able to encounter the Sun Princess Guinevere. Uh, she is the one who hands you the Lord Vessel. As previously stated, you need that to fast travel, so make sure you do this before you leave Anor Londo. But she also informs you that you must take her father's place as the Lord of Flame. She also informs you that the royal servant, Frampt, another friendly NPC that you will encounter very early on, will inform you of how to move forward. So, of course, to learn where to go next, after obtaining the Lord Vessel from the Sun Princess Guinevere, you have to go talk to Frampt. He's located at the Firelink Shrine. It is at that point that Frampt, the friendly NPC, will inform you that there are 4 sealing souls keeping Gwyn, her father, locked away in his dimension. Before I start detailing the locations and how to get to these bosses, remember that they don't have to be done in this order. These bosses don't have a specific order they have to be done in, and you can tackle them in any order that you wish. The only requirement is that all 4 of them have to be defeated. This is how you get to Gravelord Nito. It's behind the Firelink Shrine, past the skeletons. There's a bit of a hidden stairway down that leads to the catacombs and then to the Tomb of Giants, where you can find him. Of the 4 sealing bosses, I believe Gravelord Nito is the most annoying, and it's not even his fight that bothers me. It's just getting to his arena to start. You have to go through the catacombs and then the Tomb of Giants, which is almost as bad as Blighttown, especially with the skeleton dogs and the black knights that scatter the thing. Scatter all over the cave systems. It's a time. The boss fight isn't too hard, though. You shouldn't have too much of a hard time if you pay attention to the attack patterns. You can actually access this pretty early on, directly after you defeat Quelaag. You can actually go up the little rampart tower behind her in her arena, go all the way down to this little elevator. Don't go to the Demon Ruins just yet. There's a hidden wall that leads to the Daughter of Chaos Bonfire, where you can talk to Quelaag's sister. She actually gives you a lot of pyromancies if you go through her covenant. That being said, let's go through the Demon Ruins and the Bed of Chaos. Unfortunately, just like a lot of low bosses that are in this game's predecessor, the Bed of Chaos is a gimmick fight. The most annoying part is the 30 millennia run back through the Lost Izalith, which a lot of people feel cheated out of. Publishers forced From Software to release Dark Souls early, so Lost Izalith was rushed, and became the husk of an area that it is. Knowing how to handle the Bed of Chaos makes it more of a menial task than a fun way to test your skills against a boss. Unfortunately, the Bed of Chaos is a seal, so it does have to die, regardless of how frustrated you are. The 4 Kings, just like Nito, another boss seal, are kind of a pushover. It's the process of getting to them for the first time that just kind of makes them annoying. It is another gank fight. So when you enter the arena, the first king spawns, and then I think it's 45 seconds behind that one, another one will spawn, and they will keep doing that until they reach a predetermined number of 4, hence the name, the 4 Kings. You don't necessarily have to fight all 4 of them at once. If you can manage to defeat one before another one spawns, you remove it from the boss fight entirely. So the idea is to kill them as soon as they spawn to remove them from the fight. If you can't manage that, you will get ganked. Their magic does not feel good. Here's where you go to find them. It is behind Firelink Shrine down the spiral staircase. You can reach the New Londo Ruins that way. Seath is a dragon. Here's where you can find him. After obtaining the 4 sealing souls, you can access the Kiln of the First Flame, where you can fight Gwyn, King of Pling Pling Plong. It is at this point, actually you could do this before, directly after defeating Sma and Ornstein. This also opens up to you. You can go to the DLC, where you can then encounter the Sanctuary Guardian, Knight Artorias, Kalameet the Black Dragon, and King of the Abyss Manus. This can only be done after defeating Smore and Oreo, though. You cannot do it before. You get gatekept by Seath's Duke's Archives. Now, online interactions have been and kind of were a big focus of the game. Invasions are when you're playing online, another player can and sometimes do invade you, and their whole purpose is to prevent or kill prevent the host from progressing, or just killing them outright, thus sending them back to the closest bonfire that they rested at. There are a few scripted AI invasions that players can run into regardless of whether or not you're online. However, it's not something I would worry about too much, as one, you need to be human, meaning you need to have reversed hollowing. You need humanity to do that. And considering this, the original version of this game released back in 2011, and this version that you're seeing now is remastered for the PS4, Xbox, and PC in 2018, more people are focused on playing the Elden Ring DLC and beating one of the most anti-FromSoft bosses ever made, being Promised Consort Radahn, or the most popular shooter at the time, being Fortnite or Call of Duty. The point is, of the people playing the game, extremely few are actually playing a game with the intention of ruining it for others. However, there are a few outliers, so keep an eye out. You can also just solve that problem by playing offline entirely. Like newer games in the series, players could recruit friends and strangers. Like newer games in the series, players can recruit friends and strangers alike to assist with bosses. Both players will have to have humanity to be summoned or to summon. Doing this increases the boss's health, every boss's health, by about 50% to every summon or friend, up to 2 friends. All bosses can be summoned at or for, so you could technically fight every boss in the game with friends if you're willing to deal with a more dense health bar. It's usually worth it if your friends remember that they can dodge and they don't have to face tank a sword to be able to hit back. What you'll notice a lot in the footage here, and you may have already noticed, is that there are orange lines across the ground. Those are actually messages. The ones in the area that I'm at now are actually tutorial messages left by the dev. I'm actually in the tutorial area right now, fighting the Stray Demon, which is an optional boss, which drops an upgrade material that you would otherwise have a bit of a time getting. But I decided to fight it because I thought it'd be fun. The thing with messages is that sometimes out in the wild, out and about, you'll find a message. Keep in mind, you can only see these if you're online. If you're offline, you won't see them. You might find a hidden path you didn't know was there. You know, like, it might say, liar ahead. That's very popular, actually. Even in Dark Souls 2, 3, and in Elden Ring. Or you can have some messages that are supposed to alleviate some of the stress players find by making it a little humorous, like going up to a corpse that may have been laid across the banister or a fence and going try-finger butthole, or amazing chest ahead in Guinevere's boss room, Guinevere's bed chambers. Or you can find messages that are there for the sole intention of trolling the player and getting them to either extremely inconvenience themselves or kill themselves in hopes of an item, secret boss, or pathway. With all of that being said, that pretty much wraps up everything that I wanted to touch on with this game. It ended up being more of a tutorial, but I'm kind of glad it turned out that way, because maybe I can kind of help you guys through this game. Like I said, I try to keep it as vague as possible, because that's part of the game, is fucking around and finding out. I love this game. I still do. It's a solid 9 out of 10. I'd recommend it for anyone wanting a challenge. Also, I'm not sorry for the title. It'll absolutely boost engagement. Just like if you comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your feelings down below. Share this to your friends. And please do subscribe. I am trying to hit 500. We're almost there. I'm at 268 at the time of making this video. There will be a video like this for Dark Souls 2 and 3. However, the video for Elden Ring in this style will come sooner, no doubt. I've been playing that game religiously, as you would know if you followed my channel so far. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.